Charlie was a champion of the grassroots. Nobody knew the grassroots better. Everybody that emailed the show, Charlie would read that email, and people don't believe me when I say that, but in the radio breaks he would read every single email, and there would be thousands a day. And then he would go out to college campuses and he would interact, and he told me again and again, he's like, you don't understand, what they tell me is invaluable. Like, he was listening to what they had to say to him, and he was absorbing it all, and he knew that his role was to be their champion. People with no name ID, no influence, no friends in high places, they have needs, wants, and concerns that are sometimes hard to hear in Washington, D.C. or New York City, but he knew it. He knew them well because he touched them, he interacted with them, he debated them, and he took that message and he brought it back to the people that could do something about it. At this point, we're over 37,000 inquiries just through our website, tpusa.com, saying, I want to get involved and start a chapter. And to put that in perspective, right now we have 900 college chapters, official college chapters, and 1,200 high school chapters, and about 3,500 total. So 37,000 is enormous, and so it has galvanized the country, because I think people are sending these clips around, and Charlie spoke from a place of such integrity and just of what he believed and what he stood for, that it just hits so hard. And I've said that to other people. I said, you know, two people could say the same thing, Pamela, and for some reason Charlie's would go further, and it's because there's something in it. The integrity of who he was and what he believed and what he stood for, and his faith in Jesus was so powerful that it would just echo and spread, and that's what made his voice so powerful.
They're the people who don't want to talk. It's my main issue with them. And Charlie Kirk was a guy who, like, he was always
right, folks. Let's dive into a topic that's been lighting up the internet: Bill Maher's reaction to the chaos surrounding Charlie Kirk and his producer. Known for never holding back, Maher takes aim at the left, calling out the glaring hypocrisy exposed by the whole situation.
Love to have people like Charlie Kirk sit there as he did, because I'm not going to agree with most of what he says.
Yeah.
First of all, he was very Christy and all that.
Yeah.
I'm an atheist, but it's okay. He's a human being and not a dummy. And unless people get it through their thick skulls, you're going to have to talk to people. Let me tell you something, Bill. We've had over 200 guests here sitting in that chair. I would guess at least a quarter of them say something that is full-on bonkers, in my view.
Okay.
You know, like, we didn't land on the moon. Okay. Shit like that.
Or
and maybe
I licked her back and...
Or that is the least crazy thing. You're not in that category.
Okay.
So far. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we got a few minutes.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. But if you start just dismissing people for anything other than just the most kind of egregious, you know, I'm a Nazi and I'm proud of it. Although even Kanye has survived, and I'm not for canceling him either. He sat here once, we didn't air it because I would have been canceled. Or, you know, I'm a cannibal, not like an Army Hammer cannibal who was not a cannibal, and he sat here, and I was happy to rehabilitate him. But an actual cannibal, you know, unless it's something like so out there, you know, you just got to get over yourself and talk to these people. And for all those assholes who are like, you know, I can't believe you talked to Trump. Okay, I'm not even going to go into why that's such a stupid opinion, but just where does...
Charlie Kirk has proven himself a true champion of grassroots movements, tirelessly reading thousands of emails, listening to people, and amplifying their voices. His work goes beyond connecting with young voters on college campuses. He's igniting a broader movement that challenges the established political discourse. The controversy arises because his approach has clearly unsettled certain political figures and media personalities, and Bill Maher doesn't hold back in exposing this bias, especially in light of the left's intense reaction to Kirk's statements.
Just stupid opinion, but just where does it end? All right, I can't talk to him. Who's next? People who voted for him? Can I not talk to Joe Rogan? Right. Can't even talk to him. What about Sylvester Stallone? He's such a great guy. Stallone, Rocky. Really? I can't talk to him?
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. We got back onto that. I really didn't want to. I really didn't want to.
No, I wasn't trying to lead you there.
No, it's on my mind. It's on our minds. It's terrible. Just the fight I have been having with the left. While I'm, of course, the irony, as a lot of people in my position, is still a liberal, just a traditional liberal, won't go along with their, like a lot of the stuff that's just crazy out there too far, which gets Trump elected, blah, blah, blah. As I always say to my woke friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
Oh, good. Okay. Took me a second. Sorry, I had to absorb that.
Okay. They're the people who don't want to talk. It's my main...
It's clear that ignoring grassroots voices only harms genuine discourse, and Charlie Kirk, by spreading a message rooted in integrity and a desire to inspire change, has ignited a movement that has left a lasting impact on young voters, an often overlooked bloc in politics. The backlash following his statements has been explosive, stirring intense controversy in the media as the left struggles to handle anyone challenging their narratives. Bill Maher, ever the independent thinker, didn't hold back in calling out the dismissive attitudes of certain media figures, including Don Lemon, while highlighting just how significant Kirk's influence has become. With so much more unfolding, staying informed is key, so subscribing ensures you catch every update as the story develops.
This message is mostly directed at Don Lemon and those that are against the funeral procession of Charlie Kirk. Don Lemon said, why does he get a funeral by the state? Well, Don Lemon, we give two about what you think. We really do. As a matter of fact, we could spend $1 billion on Charlie Kirk's funeral. I wouldn't give two, and most of us would not, that know who Charlie Kirk really is. Don Lemon, did you have this conversation with your people when you guys were tearing out the country concerning George Floyd? Were you talking about all the money that it cost us to rebuild these cities? George Floyd was a nobody. George Floyd...
Lemon didn't hold back in his criticism of Charlie, even going so far as to assert that Kirk isn't a civil rights leader.
In a shocking clip, Don Lemon becomes uglier and claims that Charlie was not a civil rights leader in America. A civil rights leader has been defined as a leader of the political movement dedicated to securing equal opportunities for members of minority groups. Charlie was a leader of a political movement that specifically focused on young voters in America that make up 13 to 15% of American voters. By definition, a minority voting group. Charlie's movement at Turning Point specifically focused on educating young people about the importance of limiting government, free market, and freedom. That is it. So I don't understand what this guy is talking.
Maher sees things differently, arguing that dismissing someone simply because they don't perfectly align with your political views is dangerous and undermines open conversation. He has long emphasized confronting extremism on both sides, advocating for tough but necessary dialogue rather than shutting it down. And Charlie Kirk's grassroots activism provides a prime example of this principle. By mobilizing young voters and often overlooked demographic, Kirk challenges mainstream political discourse, yet the left's tendency to close ranks and create an echo chamber has amplified the backlash, sidelining dissenting voices and discouraging engagement. Maher warns that labeling or marginalizing individuals for their beliefs sends a troubling message that disagreement is intolerable, a trend reflected in Don Lemon's dismissive claim that Kirk isn't a civil rights leader. This controversy, Maher argues, highlights a broader societal problem: the rush to criticize and cancel opposing viewpoints rather than listen and engage. Kirk's work, focused on educating and empowering young people, has only gained momentum in the face of criticism, exemplifying how attempts to suppress voices often backfire. Maher points out the hypocrisy in selective freedom of speech, cautioning that today it's Kirk's views being targeted, but tomorrow it could be anyone's. Media figures wield enormous influence in shaping public perception, and when they dismiss grassroots movements or unfamiliar political influence, they undermine not only the activists but the broader discourse. Kirk's engagement, built on genuine interaction, continues to resonate despite detractors, highlighting a societal need for inclusivity, dialogue, and the bridging of ideological gaps. Maher emphasizes that silencing voices, particularly on college campuses, risks normalizing intolerance and discouraging youth from participating in political dialogue, ultimately harming democracy itself. The saga surrounding Charlie Kirk thus serves as a lesson in empathy, the importance of understanding differing perspectives, and the necessity of finding common ground even amid profound disagreement to foster constructive progressive political discourse.